Hello everyone, welcome back. Okay, so I brought in the lemon cypress for another pruning. It's still starting to try and close back up again. So you got to keep on top of the pruning on these guys or they'll just close up on you. It's like a continuous battle to keep them shaped like this and not, because they just want to grow back up into a conical shape. So we'll give it a bit of a pruning, maybe just a couple of branches, tighten up some of these, bring these branches down a slightly bit more again. It's like they're almost fighting with the wire to go back up, so we'll just bring a couple of these down again. Yeah, so we'll get on with it, see how we get on. It's growing pretty good now again at the moment, so like that. We don't keep on top of it, I'll end up losing control of it, and then it'll be a bit of a big job to prune it back. So I suppose first thing we need to do is make a decision on any of these branches that want to be pulled down more. I think this one here on the front, we can bring this one down another bit. So I'll just tighten up this wire on it a little bit more. I can do that with I only use a drill bit or something. If we can just get a drill bit, a twist on it. Let's see, I could just undo it, it's not that big. You can put the drill bit in and twist it, but I can just also just undo this a bit. No harm anyway to change where it's tied, just so it'd stop it digging in. I could put a bit of my air hose in on this as well, but if you keep moving it, it won't really bite in. Okay, so I think about there is enough. They're definitely one of the trickiest trees to keep in shape, as they spend their lives wanting to grow back up again. Okay, so we'll just go in, start pruning it out a bit, clean it out. Maybe just pinching some of these longer tips back as well. To be honest, a lot of this might be just tip pinching. So just get hold of a bunch of it like that and just pull it like that. And growing down we'll get rid of. Piece here, not sure do I want this piece or not. It's kind of crossing the trunk a bit. We'll get rid of that, I think. Let's chop it off. So again, like I always say, you're trying to create gaps between the branches so it gives the tree more kind of definition rather than just a big ball of foliage. That one back, it's kind of growing in towards itself. branch out, take that off. So I'm just getting it like that and just holding it and then just pinching out the ends. Try and keep the tree in a bit if I can, because it does want to keep expanding out. You don't want to just cut it. You can. You could just go in and hedge prune it, but it will go all brown and on the tips. Now, it'll grow back in no time at all. But you know, unless it was a case where you had no time, then you would be best to do that than not do it at all, I think, because if you don't prune them, you will kind of end up with a big ball of foliage, and then it's drastic measures then to get it back into some sort of shape. Okay, so I'll probably just pause the video for a while because this is going to take me a bit of time just to go around tip pinching all the branches. I'm just going to work my way bit by bit, branch by branch, and then we can have a look at it and see that we need to move some branches, prune off some branches, things like that. But already this area here, you may not be able to see it on the camera, but it's already getting a lot thinner. I can see into the tree a lot more. These ones that are kind of getting a bit long, we'll just take out completely. You may get a little bit of browner from doing this on the tips, but like I said, they grow so quickly once they're established. If you put them in the ground, they grow 10 times quicker. Obviously the bigger the pot they're in. If you have it small and you want to grow it quicker, put it in a bigger pot or like that in the ground, but be careful because it'll take off on you. One day you'll look at it and it'll look good, and then the next day you'll look at it and you'll be looking up at it. So just be careful if you put them in the ground. Put them in small pots, they kind of tend to stay small. They're very slow at growing when they're in pots. I've had these in window boxes before for years, and they stayed quite small. I just had them like little conical trees, and they just barely grew. Then I've had them in the ground and they've grown 6 foot in no time, and I've chopped them in half and they're back up again. So yeah, okay, so I'll pause the video and then I'll keep going and then we'll come back and have a look at it. Okay, so I've basically pinched it all back as far as I can tell. A lot of the time that's all you really need to do. So I'm just going to go around it now and I'm just going to check. A bit stuck in the cobwebs in here and stuff. Work my way around and see which bits I need to take out. It's easy to kind of pinch it off first and then kind of working my way around, pruning out the branches that I don't want. Because I just find that way then it's already pruned roughly to size the branches like so. And like I said, all I'm really doing is trying to create gaps so you can see into the trunk, because that's what creates the miniature look and stops it looking more like a bush. It looks like we could bring some branches down a bit. Just even them out a bit. I don't want it perfectly dome shaped, I want a bit of jaggedness in it. So again, we want it kind of looking natural looking, we don't want it like a perfect round dome, because then it starts again looking like a bush instead of a tree. So again, I'm just taking out some of the underneath branches of these upper branches and the tops of the lower ones, and that then is helping to create space between them. We did have a branch that we lost a long time ago off it here, which meant I had to bend this one round, which made this kind of branch under here a bit ugly looking. Kind of comes up and has to bend round, and part of it go up to replace. I'd use this to replace the branch that was here. So hence this is why this is the back now. But you don't really notice it, hopefully. Down a bit into that gap. Okay, we're kind of getting somewhere now. It's obviously not the best foliage in the world for making a tree with, it's quite loose foliage, but this is definitely one of my, well, one of the favourites on my channel. A lot of people like to see it, but I think that's mainly because I think nearly everybody has got a lemon cypress or has seen one. And they're very common trees, and think everybody at some stage has probably had a go at making a bonsai out of them. So it's good to see other people's, so probably why this one has got the most attention on my channel. They are nice to work with, smelling wise. They smell like lovely. Nice citrus smell off them when you're working on them, which is always a plus. Okay, let's have a look. So at the moment this is the front. Let's bring it round now to the side. Looks a bit choppy that side. The back. This side and back to the front. I might repot it next year into a more of a landscapey size of a pot. I did find it this year. I had to keep an eye on the watering because the tree itself obviously deflects the water. I put some moss on to try and hold some of the moisture in the soil, but I sat it on a tray, just a shallow tray. The water doesn't kind of come up the pot very high, if at all, but it does help just to keep a bit of moisture in the kind of pot without the roots getting wet or anything, or staying wet. Okay, so I think that's about it for this one. I'll give you a little look at my the tiny one I started. I did a video on how I started this tree by just going down to Lidl's and buying a small little one for like €3 or something it was. So I'll go and get to that and show you. It's in I had it in a small pot, but again it was growing very slowly and I wanted to grow a bit quicker obviously, so I put it into I don't really have any ground left to plant it in. It was so small it'd be lost if I put it in the front garden with all the trees I have in there. So I put it in the window box, so at least it's in a bit of more soil and it'll hold a bit more moisture and that, so it should grow a bit quicker. So I'll go and get that and I'll just show you it. Let me just move this one out of the way a minute. Okay, so this is it here. As you can see, it's grown quite well in here now. It's got a, so I kind of wired it up a bit just and thinned it out. This was to show how I started this one, to get rid of the conical shape on it. And I could probably do a little bit of pruning on this now as well, since it's in here. So basically with this, I'm just going to prune it to outward facing branches basically, and just again trying to create more of a dome shape. This is just in with a couple of twisted junipers. These are just cuttings that I grew and I just put some kind of crazy twists in them when they were small. Now this I'm not too worried about getting brown tips on. In fact I could just hedge prune this one for now, because the tips going brown won't really matter. I just don't want it trying to close in. I want to keep it as dome shaped as I can. Get rid of some of these inner branches. Something in there trying to nest in it. And these branches like in here growing back in towards it itself, we'll get rid of them out of there. So we'll try and keep everything always directing outwards for now. don't just head prune it. We may as well take a bit of time just to give it a little bit more attention. I'm just going in, chopping it. This guy's growing kind of on the side here, so I'm going to take that one right back to there, and we'll take off them inner ones so it's got the branches coming outwards again. Got that one, this one under here we can probably take out as well, and this one. I'm probably going to have to take these out at some stage because we don't want them interfering with this if we want to grow this out fully undeterred, open full range, so it's not kind of hampered by these and blocking it from getting the sun and stuff. You see this branch in here, we get rid of that one. And it's just a matter of keeping on top of it, keeping it pruned, and eventually it'll start looking like that one. Take this piece off altogether, I think. Okay, so I think that will be enough for this one for now. It's got a little bit more into shape, and the more I prune it, the more it'll branch out, and it'll be branching out in the direction I want it to grow instead of growing straight up, which it always tends to want to do. Okay, so we'll put that out. What I will do is give it a bit of a weeding around it. It's got a lot of liverwort on here. Now this is just garden compost, and I think there's some soil mixed in as well. It'll just help keep it good and wet and damp and grow well, and it's sitting in full sun all day. We want it to kind of keep the roots moist. Okay, just give that a scraping. I'll probably give that a bit of a clean off, a proper clean off, and maybe give it a fresh layer on top. Maybe some bonsai soil or something just to clean off the top, but I'll do that in a minute. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. Just move that one out of the way and then just do the big one again. And so you keep working on that, and eventually you'll hopefully end up with something like this in a few years. And yeah, it's kind of turned into a nice tree. Has dropped a couple of branches, which was a shame, but we're managing to fill it in again. I can see a lot better through the tree now. Don't know how well the camera's picking it up, but for me it's really better that you can see all the branching and stuff. Okay, so we'll leave it at that. As always guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that stuff, and we'll see you on the next one.